Well, it's time now to answer your legal questions. So go ahead and call, or you could text us at the number at the bottom of your screen, 256-536-0077. You know, this guy, Michael Timberlake, with our friends over at Timberlake, League, and Brooks. And today we are talking about boating injuries. So first of all, did you have a good weekend?
Well, of course. It was the weather worked out pretty good. The rain stayed away, and it was a little hot, but you know, we're getting there. It's summertime.
Exactly. But I mean, that's why this topic is so timely, because a lot of folks I know were out on their boats.
Yeah, so it's that time of year where everybody gets out on the waterway and tries to have a good time. And you know, and you've got people that are fishermen, you've got people that are wakeboarders, you got skiers, you got people pulling tubes. So there's a lot of traffic out there, and we just want to make sure that everybody's paying attention to what they're supposed to be doing. You know, the waterways are just like the roadways. There are rules of the road, or rules that you need to follow when you're operating a boat. You have to have the licensed operator, and the test to get a boat license is pretty difficult these days. It's so you need to make sure that you've taken the test, that you're aware of that, that you're not operating a boat without a license or an improper license, and that you're of age to operate a boat, and that you follow the boating safety rules for what you're supposed to do when you're passing a boat or an oncoming boat, docking a boat, or pulling an inner tube, and then same thing for jet skis or other type of watercraft. They have to follow the rules as well. So those are things you need to do to make sure that you can be safe out on the waterway.
I like that. But I know you're an attorney. What are some of the most common calls that you receive from
far and away, the most common thing you see with boating incidents is alcohol involved. So, there's the laws for, boating under the influence are almost the same as operating a motor vehicle under the influence. Under the influence. It's you can't do it. You shouldn't do it. Gunnersville for a long time was a dry lake. They've opened that up in the county, so you can have alcohol on board, but you're not supposed to have an open container, and you're not supposed to have a driver that's operating under the influence.
And it makes sense. I mean, it seems like it's common sense for us listening to that.
Absolutely.
I know we just received a text message.
Okay.
Let's see what that. It says. Can you say that? It says it was.
This was a lady that had actually called in last night and talked about a tree in their yard that was an adjacent neighbor's tree.
Okay.
And it fell during a storm onto their fence. And she says, well, am I responsible for fixing this, or is my neighbor responsible for fixing it? And the tree law is basically, if the tree is healthy, and it falls as an act of nature, then the property owner that the tree is on is not necessarily responsible for any damage that it caused. It's kind of, they handle their damage, you handle your damage if the tree was healthy. If it was a dead tree, if it blew over because it was going to, is dead and needed to be removed, then that can be on the adjacent the landowner to be responsible for your fence.
I'm glad we're talking about this, because I know, like, as you were driving up the mountain, you probably saw a lot of the homes that were damaged from the trees that have fallen onto their property.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if it's just a sincerely wicked storm like we got, a few weeks ago, and healthy trees and cause damage on property, then it's kind of everybody's on their own. Then your homeowner's insurance will take care of your damage, your neighbors will take care of theirs. But if there are properties that are, we call them widow makers, that where a tree's been dead for a long period of time, and it falls on your property, then that is the other person's responsibility.
All right. Well, I do believe that we have a caller on the line. It is Carrie. Good morning. Carrie, can you hear us? I'm trying to turn up my volume. Can you hear?
I can't hear anybody.
I can't hear anything. Oh, okay. It looks like we did have one, but it looks like we did receive something.
To handle a probate case of my dad, and in that probate case involved a reverse mortgage, an insurance claim with State Farm, and a safety deposit box with Regis. He was supposed to.
I don't know if we can hear that.
Yeah, I'm trying to lean in a little bit.
I eventually hired him to handle my divorce. also handled some bad checks for me.
So you basically got an attorney that's handling a lot of different types of claims for one person, you know, a divorce, bad checks, things like that. And her question was, you know, is really, you know, is this something that an attorney can do? Yeah, and you've got, an attorney can do a number of different things at the same time, but he just has to be clear in the engagement with the client that this is I'm handling this, I'm handling this, and I'm handling this, and I may not be handling this. So you can't basically have a general representation for somebody.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on. You always bring a new perspective to different things that we talk about. And make sure if you did have a question, but hey, you're like, I don't want to call in right now, make sure you go check out their blog. We have it right there on your screen, law-injury.com/blog. There's a lot of questions on there that you can find a lot of answers to.